Heard a lot of sound from Joe Burrow and Coach Krzyzewski on Coach K's podcast last week. Burrow was sitting down with Shaq Diesel, Shaquille O'Neal on the Big podcast, where he was talking about a lot of things. We gave you the sound and what he mentioned he was going to do on draft night. Looks like he's going to be sitting at the house with Jimmy, Robin, and the family on to hear his name called by Cincinnati. He was also talking about what he wants in the next place he plays, what he's looking for. Not that he has a choice, but what hopefully he steps into at the elite level.
I want to get drafted to a good team, good organization that is going to maximize my talents. You know, I've won everywhere that I've been, and I've never had a losing season in sport from the moment I was 5 years old. So I'm not a loser. I just want to go somewhere where I can win.
There you go, Cincinnati. He's not a loser, okay? So don't screw this up. Although, I don't know, man. Is Cincinnati getting it? Oh, I mean, I guess they were so terrible last season. I'm just wondering if they're getting a bad rap for being as much of a quarterback graveyard, considering they had some relative. I mean, they've had success in the past decade. It just hasn't translated into playoff wins.
The thing that scares me about Cincinnati with Burrow, because I believe so much in Joe Burrow, the player, the individual, the prospect, the person coming in, that he can change the culture. He can make you a winner. He can give you a player at the most important position in sports, a quarterback, and turn your franchise around. The only thing I worry and have concern about with Cincinnati is their reputation of being cheap. And not only cheap in going out and getting players, but just being a cheap organization, making sure that he has all the resources around him to be able to win at that level. Is he playing on the same playing field as young quarterbacks around him? Kyler Murray in Arizona seems to me that he's got every resource that he needs right there at his hand. He can reach and touch any resource he needs to make him a good quarterback, make him a better quarterback every day. Does Joe Burrow have that inside of the Bengals franchise? I don't know, because I haven't covered. I haven't covered the Bengals franchise, but I have heard the reputation of that organization throughout the years, and talking to people, watching stuff, reading stuff, is that they're very cheap, and that they're hoping to save dimes at every turn that they can. And I think when you get a prospect like Burrow that can push you over the top, right? If you give him the players around him, his reputation, his resume tells you he can make you a winner, because just like he said, everywhere he's been, he's won. We'll talk to Jason Arkley coming up at 8 o'clock this morning. He's been covering Joe since he's been a freshman in high school. I want to talk to him about that characteristic, just when you knew in the city of Athens that he was going to win at every level. He came to Baton Rouge, turned him into a national champ. I think he can do the same for Cincinnati. I just hope that the Bengals don't get in their own way.
Yeah, sometimes you need, though, that guy that you fully believe in if you're going to commit those resources. So, and here's the other thing with Cincinnati, with him being a hometown Ohio kid, I think that they know there's more pressure on them than ever to be good immediately. And let's see what Zach Taylor can do. You mentioned Arizona. The Cliff Kingsbury-Kyler Murray relationship seems to have worked really well in year one, and you'd imagine that would get better. How will another very young coach in Zach Taylor and Joe Burrow work together? Only time will tell. But that's the price of being the best player in college football, is you have to go to a terrible franchise or to a bad franchise and try to make them good again.
Speaking of youth, Burrow was talking on Myles Brennan and what to expect from LSU's next signal caller.
Yeah, it's Myles Brennan. He can really spin it. He was getting some time the year before I got there, splitting time with Danny Etling, and he's going to be a really good player. He's a smart dude. He can spin it. I'm excited to see what he's going to do this year.
That's Burrow on Shaq's podcast, the Big Podcast with Shaquille O'Neal. That aired earlier this week. A couple of bites from him talking. We did have one that we aired in Inside Headlines. And Sam, let's play that one again for his draft night plans on what he anticipates doing in the first round on April 23rd.
Yeah, there is definitely some disappointment. I was really looking forward to, walking that stage, walking that red carpet, and hearing my name called. But I think having it at home with my family is going to be just as good. Getting drafted is getting drafted. I don't really have any plans yet, because I don't really know what it's going to look like. Right now, I'm planning on just sitting on my couch with my parents and watching it on TV, I guess.
The only thing that I'm disappointed about is weren't we going to have a situation where the players were going to get in a boat and they were going to cruise up from. They were going to be in some Vegas body of water.
The stage was going to be in
The Bellagio.
in the Bellagio
Fountain.
in the Bellagio fountain, and
I was
think
really excited to see Joe Burrow.
That's what I'm saying. That would have
stage-
been really sick. Riding the boat to the stage, riding it back pirate style. That's the most disappointing part to me.